Yeah. So what I was going to ask you is how, and maybe this is too generic of a question and too cookie cutter of a question, but like somebody's looking at you as an inspiration for photography. How does somebody get better, right? Like that's one of the things that I don't necessarily understand is photography and how you progress with photography and figuring out like what angles to use, what lighting works, and all the different kind of tricks that you kind of have figured out over time. Like I don't understand that. To me, it's a different language to me. So how does somebody start to learn that language?
Yeah, this is actually like my favorite question. I'm definitely going to go on a rant here.
Love
I
this.
I love this question. It's like one of my it speaks to my core because I stumbled on this on accident and it like really made a huge difference for me. But I mean, at its core, like the very fundamental level is just you have to take a stupid amount of photos, which is not a helpful answer, but like you just have to get out and practice, take 1,000 photos, go on a hike and just shoot a ton of photos. And then, I mean, try to be deliberate about it. Like
Yeah.
think about your shutter speed and your aperture and your ISO and like think about your composition or whatever. But like you'll get home and out of those 1,000 photos, you might have like two good ones
Yeah.
and you're going to go out next time and you're going to do it again. And out of the 1,000, you might have like four good ones. Like it's so easy to look at that and be like, wow, I have 996 awful photos, but that's the wrong way to do it, right? Like
Yeah.
you're improving, like you doubled the amount of keepers. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then it's important, like when you're looking through those to look at the ones like those 998, 996 photos, look at why you don't like them. Is it underexposed? Is it out of focus? Is a tree branch looks like it's coming out of the dude's head, and like pay attention to the details of, I did that so much where I was like, I'm going to take a photo of my friend standing on this ridge. And it would look like the river was like coming out of their leg. And it's just like, just weird things like that. I had to train my eye to like look a little bit more holistically at the image. Um, but then I think the most important part, and this is like what I get all excited about, and I tell people I teach a lot of like workshops and stuff, so
Yeah.
I like teaching, and this is one of the number one things I like to send people home with, is that you should don't just look at those 996 bad photos. Look at the four that you like and tell yourself why. Because for me, the improvement is way more important if you have something that you love and you're working towards it rather than running away from something that you don't like.
Mm-hmm. Kind of
And
like
so, and
doubling
that
down.
doesn't have to be your own work either. Like I scrolled through Instagram and I would see Callum Snape or Jimmy Chin or Chris Picard, and I'd be like, wow, that photo is insane. And don't just like double tap it and then move on. Like think about why. What's his composition? How did the lighting work? Like where do you think he was, like in a helicopter, or do you think he was laying down in the ground? Did he climb up a ridge and let the people ski past him? Like, think like get yourself a target to work towards and something to emulate rather than just, I see a lot of beginning photographers that just pick themselves apart. Like, oh, all these photos are bad. I suck. And it's like, sure.
Yeah.
To be fair, I still take a bunch of shitty photos all the time,
Yeah.
but look at the good ones, work towards something great.
Yeah. I think that's really good advice. And I think people also start like with really high expectations of themselves too. Like, and I think maybe it's because they think it's easy, right? Like they think like, oh, you have a
Definitely.
camera and now I point and shoot. And like, and granted, cameras have come a long way. They're really good right now. Like everybody can get one good photo maybe out of 1,000. Like I think is a reasonable maybe not everybody, but out of 1,000 is maybe a reasonable expectation. And I think people just start with this goal of like, oh, I'm going to shoot action photos and like have no idea any of the things that go into shooting an action photo, right? Or like shooting a
Totally.
nature photo or like shooting a landscape, like no clue what the differences in those things are. And I think paying attention to that must be really important too, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, but it's just so important to like not get down on yourself. It's I mean, when we were in Georgia, do you know who Caitlin Thorian is? She's an
Yeah.
amazing
Yeah.
skier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's been
So
on one
she
of
was
the
out
shows
there.
in this network for sure.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. So she was out there with us, and I was taking photos of her, and she ripped this awesome powder turn, and I missed focus on like 30 photos in a row. I was shooting on a burst, and I was like, great, I blew it. you know, nice
It
turn,
happens.
Caitlin. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have to like roll with the punches. It's not easy. You're gonna mess up. You can't get down on yourself. It was like, okay, stay there. I guess I'm gonna ski down. We're gonna try that again.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's fine. Like, I mean, that's part of it. And I think it's,